Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. We are back. It's the 1st of January. Happy New Year to everybody. Now, what bet you're wondering, where's the set? Where's the stuff behind and the mics and that? Well, that'll be back tomorrow. I mean, today is New Year's Day, which means yesterday was New Year's Eve. I'm actually sat in a hotel in Birmingham. It's very early in the morning. I'm looking a bit, I think, worse for wear. My eyes. I've got the black coffee going on here. Plenty of water. It was a very rough night last night out in Birmingham. Of course, we had the game against West Brom yesterday. And by the time we finished editing all the videos and that, there was just no point in trying to get back to London. We wouldn't have got back to see the New Year in. So I decided to see it in here in Birmingham, and respect due to everybody I met yesterday in Birmingham. It was good. It was at the O2 MTV base party. It was brilliant up there, but oh my God, my head is so sore today. It was a rough night. And I've only had a couple hours sleep, trust me, to be able to get up and do this. But we're here, we're back. And listen, let's get into it. I mean, what is this window going to hold for Arsenal fans? Now, first of all, it's not really at the moment about who's coming in. It's more at the moment about who's going to be staying at the club. Of course, as we know, the mess that we've got ourselves in is we've got a load of players who have only got a few months left to go on their contract. Their contracts are running out and they can now go. Alexis Sanchez, he can leave the club right now to say, well, you know what he can do right now? He can sign a pre-agreement with any club he wants in Europe, as long as it's not a Premier League club. Both him and Mesut Ozil can do that. And of course, Alexis Sanchez, we all know he wants to go to Manchester City. That is his destination where he wants to go to. The deal fell through in the summer. At the last minute, but will Manchester City rekindle it for January? Now, the interesting thing is that yesterday Manchester City suffered a couple of injuries to key players. Kevin De Bruyne going down injured. Looks like he could be out for a few weeks. And Gabriel Jesus, who the rumours are could be out for 2 months. Now, that's a big chunk of the season. And, Manchester City got loads of important games coming up. Will they move in this January transfer window for Alexis Sanchez? Say maybe come in with an offer in excess of £20 million. Can Arsenal turn that down? We saw with the Robin Van Persie thing when Manchester United came in with an offer of about 20-25 million. Arsenal couldn't turn it down. Will Arsenal be able to turn that down, or will they just let him walk away for free at the end of the summer? That is what we're going to find out. It's going to be a test for Arsenal. If they sell him, do they have a replacement lined up? How much will that replacement cost? Remember, Arsenal's still desperate to get into that top 4 so that they can attract better players to the club. But it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Alexis Sanchez. Also, Mesut Ozil, who was out yesterday, didn't play in the game, had this mysterious slight knee injury. Now, I was chatting to a lot of fans at the game yesterday, and a lot of them had their doubts about this injury. They were like, this guy, every minute he's got little colds and injuries. Now listen, it could be genuine. It could be the fact that he's got a slight injury and Wenger wants to keep him back for the game against Chelsea. But again, lots of speculation flying around. Could he be on his way to Manchester United? They want him. You can see at the moment they find it really difficult to break teams down. He'd be perfect for them. And you saw yesterday what it's like when he's missing. I mean, we were very poor against West Brom. All right, the penalty decision was dodgy. Even West Brom fans I was chatting to last night were saying that penalty decision was a joke. But still, we found it very difficult to break West Bromwich Albion down without Mesut Ozil. So could he be on his way out? And then there's Jack Wilshere. Remember, he hasn't signed a new deal yet. He's making all the right noises, Wilshere. He wants to stay. Arsenal, we haven't yet sat down with him. Wenger admitted this and worked on a new contract. Now, what are they waiting for? For me, this guy should be the captain of the club. But again, our differing transfer policy has meant that he's been sitting there waiting on a new contract, not knowing whether he's coming or going. And again, supposing a big club like a Man City or a Man United come in with a big wad of money for Jack Wilshere, would Arsenal be able to resist? So these are going to be a lot of the questions that are going to be answered in this transfer window. What happens to Theo Walcott? Now, there's big rumours going around that Theo Walcott could go out on loan to Southampton. Southampton got loads of money at the moment. They've got the £75 million that they picked up for the sale of Virgil van Dijk. Could it be heading there? Could it be Everton? Could it be West Ham United? There's certainly a lot of clubs at the moment looking at Theo Walcott. He's not been figuring for Arsenal. So could he be on his way out of the club in January? And who do we replace him with? Again, we saw yesterday, was Iwobi up to scratch? If you get rid of a guy like Theo, you know. So lots of questions to be answered on that front for Arsenal. Thomas Lemar continues to be linked to Arsenal. Now, Lemar, as we know, we nearly signed him for a whopping 80, some people say even £90 million right at the end of the transfer window. Arsenal may be interested to try and go back in and get him, especially if Alexis goes. But Monaco at the moment, very reluctant to sell him till at least the summer. But Arsenal's still looking at that situation. So I'm going to have to wait and see what happens with that. Steven Nzonzi's been another player that's been linked heavily with Arsenal. Now, Nzonzi, defensive midfielder, plays for Sevilla, but has fallen out with the management of Sevilla. There's been lots of rumours. He's been in London. He's been at Arsenal's training ground. Loads of stuff like that. More likely that he'd probably end up at somewhere like Everton and that. Nzonzi, big, rangy player. Is he what Arsenal needs? Is he the quality that we want? He's a good player, but is he what Arsenal need? I'm not sure. But Nzonzi being linked strongly to Arsenal. David Luiz, defender for Chelsea, another guy that's been linked very heavily to Arsenal now. You know, David Luiz, good defender. Is he the solid defender that Arsenal require? But certainly in the defensive department, we've been struggling this season. But Luiz has fallen out with Conte at Chelsea. Hasn't figured for a while. But Chelsea would be very reluctant to sell somebody like David Luiz to one of their rivals. So I kind of think that that's not going to happen. And there's Leon Goretzka of Schalke. Now, a lot of people have been saying, listen, if Ozil goes, he will be the perfect replacement. Leon Goretzka, he's available on a free transfer. Plays for Schalke. I remember that's where he got Kolasinac from. Could he come over to Arsenal? But again, the likelihood of that, from what I'm seeing, is that he's going to sign for Bayern Munich. He's available on a free. But Bayern Munich seem to have got their teeth into that one really early, and it looks like he's going to be heading there, not even in January, but in the summer on a free transfer. So, you know what I mean? Forget about who we're trying to get in at the moment. We've got a lot of players that we've got to try and secure to try and stay. And if they don't, who are we going to replace them with? Who do we replace Alexis with? Should we go for somebody like Mahrez? Should we go for somebody like, I don't know, a Zaha? We were talking, on the podcast the other day, DT was saying if Alexis went, Zaha and Mahrez to replace him. But are those clubs going to let those type of players go in January? This is what we're going to find out this month. You can track it all here, every day here on Transfer Daily. Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to subscribe here to ArsenalFanTV. I'm about to get back to my black coffee and my water, chill out a little bit, and then head back to London. But I want to wish everybody right now a happy new year. Let's hope it's a better year, starting off with this January transfer window for Arsenal.
Subscribe to ArsenalFanTV.